The other chapter that really caught my attention straight away was this the chapter you have on mastering violence.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, I liked. I mean, you title the first section, "The best defense is a good offense,"
mm-hmm.
right? Because I see there's a few channels I follow on YouTube. I follow this one channel more for lulz than for actual practical advice, and it's called Hard to Hurt. And he talks about using like flashlights and things to like smack home invaders in the face and various things like this. And it's there's a lot of LARPing in the world when it comes to self-defense, and when it comes to what do they call them? There's a term for it, like McDojos.
Mm-hmm.
Dojos and gyms or martial arts gyms that are run by these fat dudes with ponytails who pretend to be what's that action hero's name from Under Siege?
Steven Seagal.
They pretend to be Steven Seagal and Aikido their way out of a situation. Here's how you defend from a knife, etc. And look, no, none of that shit's going to work. You're going to get stabbed. You're going to die. But there are perfectly valid, very useful, not just in terms of self-defense, but useful in terms of life skills, martial arts you can pick up, like boxing, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like MMA.
Krav is really good for disarming people with knives and stuff like that. Like I have weapons, throughout my house. Sometimes it's a hatchet, sometimes it's just a machete or something like that. But I would not be using a flashlight to try to take somebody out. I mean, a hatchet's a nice tool because it's got one end that's blunt, so you won't kill them, but you can knock them out. Or it's got the sharp side, which, if you need to use it, you can use it. But here in Canada, it's really difficult to defend yourself, even in your own property by a home invader. You're probably going to have to deal with some plaintiff's claim against you. It's pretty dangerous here, so you got to be super careful. And that's why knowing how to defend yourself, regardless of what you use, needs to be part of the toolbox that you have around you as a guy, right? Like you have to know how to defend yourself. Like that, like women love men that are civilized but can be lethal.
Yeah, and I always liken this like the capacity for violence, right? You might think, guys might ask, well, why the hell would a woman be attractive to a guy who is violent? Inherently. Hey, here we go, Rollo. Grifters are up early this morning. Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Rollo Tomasi.
Indeed. And Rollo Tomasi is going to be on this show tomorrow at 1:00 Pacific time. So I've got this is a double 1-2 double punch combo for you guys, Rich Cooper and then Rollo Tomasi on my channel. I know I've made it now because I've had these guys on. But shit, what was I just saying, Rich? I was in the middle of a thought and then Rollo interrupted me.
Oh, we're talking about self-defense and capacity for violence.
That was it. Yes, the capacity for violence, right? So some guys, and in particular, and even me, when I was younger, I didn't like. I was always taught, oh, violence isn't the answer. You shouldn't get into fights, like, because I used to get into a lot of conflicts as a kid, and that was sort of, and then, overbearing mother just tried to drill that shit out of me. It was like,
and that's a natural state for boys is to compete in the physical world, right?
Yeah, and so guys might think, well, why is this like a DHV? Well, I always sort of explain it as, if you have the capacity for violence, like, here's the thing, like, you're not you can't be a peaceful man if you don't have the capacity for violence. If you can't actually hurt somebody, you're not peaceful, you're just useless.
Correct. Yeah.
Like if you might say, oh, I'm a pacifist. I believe in peace. I don't believe in war. I don't believe in fighting. But can you fight? Because if you can't actually fight, then you're just a punching bag.
Correct. You're just fodder.
For some guy who can fight.
Yeah.
Your pacifism is purely based upon him.
Yeah, the problem is that there's not a lot of conflict anymore. We live in a very safe world. It's pretty hard to die. Like even when you have a pandemic, which is supposedly killing everybody, but yet 99.8% of people that get it still survive. Like we live in a very safe. Let's vaccinate everybody. Let's wear tampons on our face and call them masks and hide people away and squirrel them away and keep them in houses. And it's like, we're constantly trying to pussify the West. And to put it into context, there was a Google study. I actually saw this in a video. I think it was a conversation or an interview Jordan Peterson had, but I included the summary of it in the book. But when women search online for shit that arouses them, specifically porn and stuff like that. They look for billionaire, so like gray, kind of like a 50 Shades of Grey, werewolf, vampire, surgeon, pirates, like freaky shit like that, right? Like they want guys that have the capacity to put a dent in the universe, to influence, right, and to also be violent as well.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Rollo's jumping in here. Look, yeah. Rollo, stop stealing the show, right? We know everyone's going to pay attention to your comments. Yeah, we all know you're a lot smarter than me, so just look. All right, settle down. A capacity for violence translates to protection, provisioning, and parental investment. So that's exactly the point, right? It's if you have the capacity for violence, then you have the capacity to defend her.
Yeah,
and that's what it actually means. It's like they don't think. Women don't really think when they see a guy who's violent, they don't think he's going to use that violence on them.
Yeah,
necessarily. Like, although some,
you're never gonna like. The whole feminized West thing is trying to tell guys to be more like girls and to have girls become more like guys, but you're never going to wean out, the evolutionary component of the DNA that exists with women, where they mate select for men that have the capacity to protect and preside over them, as Rolla mentioned. The capacity for violence, to protect them should the need be called. Like, if there's a noise in the house and you're in bed, and Myron talks about this, and I had this happen, I don't know, it was a couple months ago. I have a home alarm, so when a door opens, you hear a little ding, ding, ding. The garage door wasn't latched properly, like the actual latch. So it was a windy night, and because of the air pressure, it slightly pushed the door open, and then the alarm kind of goes off upstairs, and it's like ding, ding, ding. She doesn't get out of bed. She doesn't want to go check it out. She's nudging you to go check it out because that's what's expected of you as a guy, right? So, you got to understand, men and women are not equal. Like, you got to stop, consuming this nonsense out there that we're all the same and we're equal and all that. We're not, because when the guy breaks into the house, you're the one that's going to have to go deal with it.
Exactly, man.